Your smartphone, it'll tell you where she is at any one time. And instead became tactical, low-level, conventional bombers. There you are, you get that wonderful delta shape. And there is still in existence a piece of paper dating from 1946 when Roy Chadwick, the man who designed the Lancaster, first drew that shape. And that was only 5 years after the Lancaster flew. Flight Lieutenant Bill Ramsey, the other pilot, and the third man of the crew, the Air Electronics Officer, the AEO, Phil Davis. Martin Withers took Falcon 607 down to the Falkland Islands with 21 1,000-pound bombs in his bomb bay. And he dropped them all, and 2 of them hit the runway at Port Stanley. That was about par for the course. These were dumb bombs, more or less unchanged since the days of the Second World War. Is opening, so if you look underneath the aircraft now, you see that huge bomb bay. That was the bay that carried those 21 1,000-pound bombs. That's about roughly 10 tons of payload, and it was the longest bombing raid in history at the time. It was as far as going from here to Santiago in Chile, and they went on a round trip from Ascension Island down to the Falklands and back again, and they needed the services of no less than 11 air refueling tankers to get there and back. And one of the refueling specialists who was on board the aircraft said that they very nearly missed their last rendezvous, which would have meant them ditching in the Atlantic, and he said he'd never seen a Vulcan with so little fuel in it and still flying. But they did manage to make their last rendezvous, and they got back. And Martin Withers was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross for that, and his crew was mentioned in dispatches. Now, she left the RAF service in 1993, and everybody loved her. This particular aircraft was the last Falcon in service. She was the display aircraft of the Royal Air Force, the display Falcon. And when she left the Air Force in 1993, nobody ever thought they would see a Falcon fly again. But through the excellent services of David Walton, who bought this aircraft with a whole load of spares and took her to Bruntingthorpe, and another man, Dr. Rob Fleming, they got her airborne again. It took till 2007 to get her into the air again, and it was the most complex restoration to flight of a military aircraft there's ever been. So when she first flew again in 2007, delta shape. And there is still in existence a piece of paper dating from 1946 when Roy Chadwick, the man who designed the Lancaster, first drew that shape. And that was only 5 years after the Lancaster flew.
complete 25 missions. Named Snafu and War Eagle, the mount of the Duxford-based 78th Fighter Group pilot Lieutenant Severino Calderon from late 1944. Rolling now then off the hard Dakota Heritage's Douglas C-47A Skytrain Dragamoot. The TF-51D Mustang, the two-seat Mustang of the fighter collection named Miss Velma, is believed to be a veteran of the Korean War. And it made an epic transatlantic journey by air in the hands of Ed Shipley, the great American Mustang pilot, in 2007. Over the threshold then, Dave Southwood in the fighter collection's P-40B Warhawk. Operated by the and that's flying at somewhere around about shoulder height across the green pastures of Kemble Airfield. So for the aircraft shortly, all the way down the display line, you'll be able to get some nice shots against that blue sky. Smoke on, and pulling through for the heart. Ladies and gentlemen, while the NAT's just repositioning, rolling in just a few seconds amongst the highlights of today's flying programme, our World War I with invasion stripes low and fast over Duxford. It's a big fighter, the P-47, but it's one that can be flown with extreme dexterity, an aircraft with excellent handling qualities. Rolling off the heart, the North American T-28S Fennec. Graham Foskey from the AN2 Club, thank you very much indeed. Terrific display by Bill and Chris. Yep, thanks very much indeed. Later on, the North American T-28S Fennec.
Well, of course, it's Diamond Jubilee year, 60 years since our wonderful Queen became Queen, but it's also the 60th anniversary of the first flight of the Falcon, rather the Avro 698 as it was known then. So we share a Diamond Jubilee with Her Majesty, and in fact Buckingham Palace has been kind enough to say that every time we display this year, we can say that it is in honour.
For example, any potential Korean conflict. Very difficult to counter this aeroplane because of that low speed.
Exactly right, like the famous tale of the Swordfish and the Bismarck. Everybody was firing ahead of the aircraft, they didn't realise how slow it was.
How slow is he going here, would you estimate?
I would estimate in this wind he's probably got a ground speed of about 30 miles an hour, something like that, not very fast. He's got 5.5 tons of aeroplane, 1,000
It has no stalling speed quoted in the pilot's handbook, does it?
No, indeed.
In the lead then, a biplane airliner initially. There we see the Rapide and the AN2 breaking away and starting its solo display, the Fairey Swordfish 2. drag and repeat. Meanwhile, the RAF Sea King lifting is not off on a shout, just departing to Watersham. Do give them a wave as they